So I just got off a call with a client who is struggling in his marriage. There's infidelity on the spouse's side, and he feels like he's putting in a lot of effort, trying a lot, but there's no real actions expressed from the partner's side. And this is a pattern that I see actually with a lot of men, where marriage and relationship starts to deteriorate, is men believe in the commitment to the longevity of the marriage as opposed to the quality of the marriage. So what happens is men will forego their own needs. They will minimize problems. They will kind of put some sunglasses over the things that bother them in favor of extending the length of the marriage, not trying to be bringing up problems, not trying to be bitter about things. Intention behind it is very good, but it tends to bite men in the ass, because what you're doing in your self-abandonment is also losing respect for yourself. You're losing your discipline, and so is your partner. So you're saying my needs don't matter, I'm not important, and then your needs aren't getting met, they're not getting fulfilled, you're not setting boundaries, you're not asking for your needs to be met. So therefore you start to kind of wither away in your masculinity, and then the sexual desire dies from your partner. They start taking the masculine role. In order to make up for it, you start trying to navigate around their emotions because they start becoming moody. But a woman's emotions are like a roller coaster. They're not stable. They're not reliable. Meanwhile, she's looking to you to create a more stable environment, but your discipline and your self-respect has already withered away. So this complete and total separation of the love and desire and connection starts to happen. In a household like this, where there's kids involved, there's a business involved, there's a lot of things intertwined that hold you together like glue that you don't want to just blow up. But there's so much resentment and so much pain and hurt there. You're living in the same house, completely separate. So you're thinking, how can I make this work? What can I do to improve this situation? Especially if there's only one side that's really working on something. In order to get unstuck from this mess, this is how I directed my client. First, we have to understand the physical, mental, spiritual, and emotional damage that this type of betrayal can have on us. Whether it's an actual infidelity, financial betrayal, whatever it is, it's impacting your nervous system, your self-esteem, and your self-respect. For a man, it's very important. It's the most important thing for you to be a leader and have respect for yourself. In this sense, we're kind of vacillating between, do I stay or should I go? And I don't want you to think about that. We want to redirect your thoughts not to should I stay or should I go, but how can I start creating a self-discipline, a routine that's going to help me build back up that self-esteem, that self-confidence, that self-respect that will get me in a better place to make wiser decisions. Right now, you're in an emotionally dysregulated state that's not going to allow you to think clearly and make the best choice. Number one, create a daily routine that revolves around a value system that you are committed to no matter what scenario, what situation, no matter how you feel, so that you can develop discipline and consistency that other people can witness and you can witness within yourself, so that when the hard times come, you know what you're falling back on, no matter what, that's going to get you through the day. This will continue your self-respect, even in the lowest of times, and it's something that nobody can rob you of. A lot of people during these moments, to make themselves feel better, will seek external validation, immediate gratification, sex, porn, alcohol, drugs. You want to develop a system that nobody can take away from you, which is your discipline and self-respect. Number two, you want to get an external support system, because likely the environment that you're in is not supportive of the healthy direction you want to go in, the mental health support. So you need to find either a men's group, a coach, a therapist that's going to help not only guide you in the right direction, but keep you motivated. You want them to be non-judgmental. You want them to be objective. You don't just want to find people who are going to be 100% on your side and bash your partner, especially if you're trying to work things out. You need someone who's actually just going to listen to you, hold space for you, and give you support that's going to encourage your personal growth, not just coming from a negative bias of the relationship. Number three, what you're going to want to do. This is going to be the hardest part for a lot of you, and this is what's going to take the most coaching, is you have to start putting consequences to boundaries. If you are a man, it is your job to be a leader. First in yourself, and then through actions to others. If you have kids, if you have a spouse, they are not listening to just what you say. They're watching what you do. They're going to embody who you are. So you might be sitting there thinking, I can't leave, I got to stay for the kids. If the kids are watching you be a weak version of the man that you could be, you're sad, you're depressed, you're getting fat, you're feeling like just anxious, like you're just not doing your best work, but you're staying for them, that's the type of role model that you're becoming for them. And they're going to grow up saying, yeah, mom and dad stuck it together. I respect them for that. But dad was like always depressed. He was always down. They're not going to see you as the best version of the man. And then they're going to look at their football coach or their basketball coach or their art teacher and latch onto that dude as their next male mentor. And that's not what you want. Ultimately, if you want the best thing for your kids and for your spouse and for yourself, is you have to stick to a value system that shows you have self-respect and that you can take care of yourself, so that when your kids see what you're doing, they can respect you for choosing growth and becoming a better version of yourself for them. Short term might be painful, but it's long term that you're looking at for their personal development. When it comes to setting boundaries and consequences with boundaries, if you have someone who's really disrespected you and you just tell them that they disrespected you, but there's no consequence to that disrespect, what is their incentive to change? What is their incentive to learn from that lesson? If someone has cheated on you, a lot of people tell you to leave so that you show them that they can't fuck with you like that. When you're in a marriage, sometimes it's not that easy, but consequences can still be something like leaving the house, moving out of the bedroom, creating separation, creating space, and actually telling them, I'm doing this because this happened, so that they know, oh, in relation to my action, there is a painful consequence. You have to be brave enough to inflict pain when it comes to consequences, because or else the consequence doesn't really fucking matter, and then what is the point? No one wants to be in these situations. No one wants to be a doorknob or a doormat or a nice guy that always gets stepped on. But eventually, if you keep betraying yourself, betraying your boundaries, you start to become that guy just by default. And then you look around and you go, what is my life? Who am I? Where did the respect go? I have anxiety. Now I'm on all this medication. I don't feel good about myself. So we have to start back where it started. We have to get to the root cause. You can look all around you and try to fix all these external things, but whether you stay in the situation you're in or not, you're going to have to address these issues anyway, or else bada bing, bada boom, you're going to go on repeat, my guy. So follow these steps, at least at first. I can go into a more in-depth video if you'd like, but this is where I would suggest getting started. If you're in a rocky relationship, start with yourself. Get back on your self-discipline, do things that make you feel good, and everybody around you will be attracted to you because you're going to have an energy that says, I am full of respect and abundance. If you're someone who's personally struggling with this, you haven't found a coach or a therapist, and you want someone who's been through it step by step by step, done it a million times before, my name's Elise Micheals. I'm a men's mental health coach, and I've been working with high-performing men for the last 6 years. That means entrepreneurs, business owners, celebrities, politicians, anybody who you could think of who usually can't find anybody to trust is usually my main client. So click the link in my bio to schedule a clarity call if that's you, and I can't wait to have you as a client and walk you through step by step. Peace.